All right. I believe we are almost, yeah, we are live. Awesome. What's going on, guys? Donnie Rouse here. And this one is, I'm on here because oftentimes, whether you're trying to do something big, you're going to encounter resistance. So I'm just going to go right into it. Hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast, One Life Keeping Faith. Do you ever feel like the people around you who should be supporting you are actually the biggest naysayers? That you're not getting the support you need. You're not getting the that camaraderie around the goal that you have. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Why would you? Because they can't see the vision that is in your mind. It is up to you to keep that vision alive and keep moving towards that goal. So often it's so easy to get lost and to get stuck because everyone around you, you're attempting to do something new. And the people around you probably haven't tried to attempt the thing that you're trying to attempt. And as a result, they're going to try to be logical. They're going to try to be realist. They're going to tell you, oh, well, why don't you just do this, right? Do this because you just need to make money. It doesn't matter what you're going to do. You just need stability. They're going to impart experiences from their own life onto your life. If you've been listening to me at all, you know that this is the quickest way to dissatisfaction. This is the quickest way to not living your own life, to not living your own purpose, your own vision, and just to feel the fullness of life. Because now you're taking on belief systems of other people around you. So before we go any forward anymore, look at the goals you have for your life. If you are listening to this and you're like, well, I don't really have any goals, then that is your number one priority. Your number one priority is to get clarity, is to get clear on what it is that you want to create. You don't have to be so specific, but even in the general sense, if you have a general notion as to where you want to go, at least you're going in the right direction. It's like saying, all right, well, let's drive to California and you're starting in New York. If you don't know where you're going or how to get there, at the very least, if you start west, you're going to eventually get there if you just keep moving west. The same is true for your life. So what are the things that you're moving towards? What are the visions for the different categories of your life? Secondly, where do you feel stuck? Like, do you have, or I should say, who are those people who have good intentions? They want you to serve, they want you to thrive, but they're not doing it in a way that is productive for you. They're doing it in a way that pulls you down, that actually drains your energy. And then third, what is their, like, if you know these people, what is their real intention? A lot of the time, the people we love, they worry about us. So they just want the quickest way for you to avoid pain or any potential pitfalls. So it comes from a good place. It comes from their heart. They're just unaware that what they're doing is actually, in a way, sabotaging you because we tend to conform to the people around us. But I don't want you to succumb to that pressure. And then lastly, reacquaint, what is it going to feel like when you hit that goal, when you do that thing, when you obtain whatever it is that you're going after? It is so important for you to always just keep that vision in the forefront. And more than anything is just to have faith and trust that you're being guided. Trust that as long as you persevere, as long as you keep going, as long as you keep adapting, you're going to get there. When I graduated college, I had a degree in finance. I had initially wanted to be not a real estate broker, I was going to say. I wanted to be a stockbroker. That was my dream when I was in high school and then a little bit into college. But then once I started studying for those financial tests and I worked at an investment bank, I quickly realized I was like, there's no fucking way I would ever be happy doing this. Coffee was always a thing that made me feel alive, that I loved, that I got lost in. But that wasn't, my father was my supporter until I decided that I wanted to do that as my career. He's like, no, 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 no. Get a job first, make your money. And then once you've saved, then start your company, then do whatever you want. I had a different philosophy in life. I believe that, well, why the hell would I put that off, right? If this is what I want to do, why would I spend the next 20, 30, 40 years of my life doing something that I hate, only to then allow myself to go after my passion? It didn't make sense to me. Let me ask you, where was he coming from? Was he coming from a place of scarcity, a place of just being safe, a place of safety? Was he coming from a place of ill intention? Not at all. He was coming from a place of love. He was coming from a place of wanting me to create security. But when you are coming from a place, or when you are aiming at security, sometimes it is at the cost of your emotional life, your emotional health. Because I believe there's a part of that dies when you're denying your true desires, you're denying your life path, when you're denying your passions. So I progressed. I ended up quitting. At the time I was working in corporate America, I was doing corporate finance, a job that I hated. I mean, the people were awesome, but it was so dry. I couldn't go to work without literally counting the minutes until I had to leave. I could literally do all my keystrokes. Just to give you an idea, there's a repetition of it. I could literally do all my journal entries, all the stuff in the accounting with my eyes closed, because the system, I just memorized the system. Some people live like that every single day. Some people love it, by all means. If you love numbers, I am amazed because I could look at numbers and after a while they start to dance on the screen and they make no sense to me. But some people like that. And then for those people, you are in the right career. But I'm speaking to those of you who aren't in the right career, those of you who count that clock and wait for yourself to get home because you're just so unhappy with your work. So after a year and a half of working corporate America, I decided that I was going to leave. I said, you know what? I'm going to go and pursue my passion for coffee. I left my job and then I started working at a cafe making minimum wage. I think I was making like maybe $7 an hour. High school kids were making more because they had been there longer. My father was not happy. And part of me felt enraged because I'm like, oh, like, why can't you just let me be who I want to be, do what I want to do? So I pursued and I persisted anyways. I opened my company. I kept educating myself. Did televised cuppings on TV, but that wasn't enough. 2007, I started my company. I became a president of a roasters guild, started roasting, wasn't really selling much. Still didn't get the support I wanted. And I remember I was helping my father out. He has an HVAC business. I remember helping him out. And I was asking him about his upbringing and his relationship with his parents and his mother specifically, and about when he chose to go into his line of work. And he shared with me a story. He was telling me how his mother had wanted him to go to work in an office She wanted him to have that safety. So she's literally telling, it's funny, he was giving me advice, but it was like he was in my shoes, but now he was doing the same thing his parents was. And again, it was all from a place of love. He was telling me how his mother wanted him to be in office, but he liked figuring things out. He liked working with his hands, like being mechanical. I take after him. And it wasn't until he actually built his business and he was doing well that his mother believed, and then she supported. Now in my life, I started my business in 2010 is when I actually stepped out. I had started in 2007 and was testing for years and just refining my process. 2010, I stepped out. I introduced a drink called Cold Roman, and all of a sudden I had lots of people, just crowds of people lining up at my booth. A few years later, I'd forgotten something that I needed my father to pick up and deliver to me. So when he delivered, I think it was like a ice scoop, he had seen, like the market had started, and he'd seen a line of people lining up for my coffee. And I believe it was at that moment that it just maybe the switch just flipped on. And from that point, he became my biggest supporter. He still thinks that I should open a cafe. Maybe one day I will, but it's just not in my plan right now. I have bigger things that I want to do. So how does this relate to you? How does this relate to your life? What I want to share is that the people who love you, the people who support you, may not be able to support you in the way that you need it. In instances like this, you need to surround yourself with people who are doing the same thing, people who believe in what you're doing, people who will support and give you positive reinsurance. Because only after you've walked that path can you turn back, and then all the people who loved you, but they just wanted you to be safe, then they will be your biggest supporters. You have to be persistent. You have to have faith. And you have to just enjoy the process. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, why are you doing it? What's the point? Life is too short. Not a single moment is guaranteed. So why do something that you hate and makes you miserable? I was watching a reel on Jim Carrey. He was giving a speech at some college. And he was talking about failure. A lot of people give up on their dreams because they are afraid to fail. When the truth is, failure, really, it is a mindset. Failure only happens once you've actually stopped moving towards your goal. Until then, you're just learning. So he said, listen, you could fail doing something you hate. Or you can possibly fail doing something you love. Which would you rather do? It's easy, right? You'd rather spend your time and energy doing something that fills you up, that brings you joy. This could be applied to any aspect of your life. The story I just gave you had to do with my career. And career, just like everything else, it's not enough to say, this is what I want. Like imagine you are mining gold. Right? The gold, the value, the thing that you want is right there. It's present in, I don't even know where you find gold, if it's in a mountain or something like that. It's there. But you can't just go grab it, right? It has to be mined. You have to put in the work. The same is true of your life. The same is true of anything worthwhile that you're going after. You must do the work. You must have faith knowing that what you were looking for is there. Because faith is believing in something that you cannot see. So let's bring it back to those questions. What is it that you want? If you don't know what you want, it's going to be very difficult to do this process. At the very least, have a vague sense of what it is that you're going for. Secondly, who are the people in your life that have your best intention, but may not be supporting you in the way that you need it? Third, what are their intentions? Like, is it coming from a place of love? Is it coming from a place of distrust, or are they trying to sabotage you? You might have some friends who literally might try to sabotage you because they're jealous because they haven't taken the action, and therefore they don't want you moving forward and them feeling like they're less. There might be some of those too, but for the most part, I think your family is going to be the people who love and support you, but they just don't know how to support you in the way that you need it. And then lastly, connect to that vision. What are the feelings that you're going after? Keep that vision at the forefront of your mind. Surround yourself with the people who will lift you up and support you and cheer you on. And just keep going. So many goals are not realized because people give up right before the finish line. I promise you, once you cross that finish line, you'll look back at all those people who loved you and were just afraid because they didn't want to see you fail or get injured or emotionally hurt. They will be there. They will be your biggest supporters. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, if you'd like to subscribe or make a comment, you can do so by visiting my website at www.donnierouse.com. Again, www.donnierouse.com. There you can also subscribe to my mailing list. I'll let you know when I do these events where if you're looking to get some clarity on your life, on the different categories of life, I will walk you through my process. That event is going to be coming up probably mid-year. But if you're interested, sign up there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I believe that you deserve to live the life of your dreams. But it starts with making a decision, it starts with a vision, and it starts with action. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. God bless. Thank you so much. And remember, you only get one life. Live it.